From Fireman's East, right before week 7. Still alive. I'm with one of the Esses brothers. I'm not sure which one. We'll find out as we go. 50% of the reason why I implemented the uniform rule was so I could know which one is which. But the truth is, now that I got to know you guys better, I know who's who now.
Okay, good.
You guys,
it's been 3 years.
It's been 3 years. Seriously, the first year when you were both on Moshe Hammer's team, I had no clue which one is which. You were like the same person to me. But now, as I got to know you guys, there's definitely some differences. The eyes are a little bit different, right?
That's not the first thing I go to.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I'm looking at you, I can see the difference now. But also, the fortunes in 2022 YMSL are wildly different. You, Sammy, are on a rough team this year that somehow is still alive. Let's hear about yada 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 and what happened this season, Sam.
So we started out, I mean, we played that first week without Ralph. Everyone knows the story. We played 2 games. We played competitively against a good team, and we didn't come through in the end. We had a big lead in game 2 and we blew it.
Against your brother, actually.
It was, yep. And but from that point, we still left that game thinking, okay, we're good. We know we could do this. Week 2, split. Week 3, split. Week 4, split. And we always felt like we should have took 2. We could be 6-2, 7-1.
Yeah.
And we always had that feeling we could do it. We were hitting great. We just bad bounces, bad luck. Just every week something seemed to happen. And then you had those 3-week gaps, and our team just forgot how to hit all of a sudden.
So it's funny because I noticed this year there were more sweeps than ever. More than ever. Every team like Hubba Bubba, for instance, is 7-5. Usually that means they have 1 sweep and they split the rest of the weeks. Usually.
Right.
They have 3 sweeps and they got swept twice. And they're not alone like that. Also, your brother's team is 8-4. They got swept also, so they have 4 sweeps and they got swept once. Like, it's crazy amount of sweeps. Yada yada yada. The only team in the league that never swept anybody. And like you said, the one that sticks out to me is that Tigers game. You guys had that sweep.
Yes.
You definitely had that sweep. The high pop with Sabon and Dano.
Yeah.
I mean, Sabon might not be Keith Hernandez at first, but he catches a high pop. Dano.
That was a miscommunication.
Exactly. It's like you would think high pop to the right side over there. For sure, the game is over, let's say. And the Tigers pounced. And when you don't pick up the sweep at all, it's going to come back to bite you. But still alive.
Still alive. Chip in a chair, as they say.
Chip in a chair.
And you know what? You sent that video this week from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you riled us all up. That could be us.
It could be.
Why not?
That AB Saka team 3 years ago had no chance to make the playoffs. 1-7. Everyone else had at least 3 wins. And they came out of nowhere. Like, they really came out of nowhere. This one will be tough, though. This one will be tough. But it could happen. I mean, Nay could definitely sweep Los Caballos over there.
And I already had a talk with Nay.
Yeah.
He's prepared.
He's coming to play.
Yeah. And when he came against us, when they knew backs were against the wall, they had to win too, they did it. He was on fire that day. I give him a lot of credit. He pitched great. His team fielded great. And they had timely hits. They have the ability to do it. Nay has to be great, and Nay Field has to really step up.
I believe this, I fully believe this. Any team can beat any team if they show up that day.
Yes.
There's no team this year in particular that's head and shoulders above the rest. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're Toledo or whatever, 8-4, get back. There's no team that's dominant over another team. It's just that, like you said, the week Slap and played you, they made every play, Navy pitched great. Then you watch the highlights from last week where they cannot field the routine ground ball. They can't make a single play. It's crazy to see, but if they show up, I really give them a chance. And then it's like you have to assume Navy is going to sweep you. If I'm you.
Right.
Assume they're going to sweep. Can you possibly take 2 from Mo Money? I think you can also.
So we definitely have the ability. The truth is, to me, Mo Money is the best team in the league.
That's what
I love that team.
That's what a baddie said also.
A lot of stars on that team. It's ran well. The question is, we got cold when we faced Eddie Harari and AB. Those are the two pitchers that shut us down. Now against AB Cohen, different type of pitcher, will our bats get going again?
Right.
And that's it. Our back's against the wall. It's do or die now. So
It's do or die. I have you on video. I love the moment over here in the foul territory where I go, Sammy, what's going on here? You know, bats are a little dead, and you go, I'm worried. I'm worried.
So joining YMSL was an unbelievable experience for me, because all the years playing in Brooklyn and just fighting with people, trying to convince them to stay,
Right.
I now understand what the draw is here. There's so much emotion and excitement about every game, but at the end, as great as that is, it's also a negative, because guys come in on a high, and then when things go wrong and you don't feel confident, it goes to such a low. And,
Right.
and that's what happened to us. Our guys really like the wheels fall, but you can always come back. There's certain games, the teams come back from 4 or 5 runs.
Yeah.
But our team just, last game, we didn't have that confidence that we could do it, and we never made that push.
It's a great point, because there's nothing better than those comebacks. And
Yeah.
when you're on a team in a certain year, you sort of feel like it's always going to happen, you know? And then when you're on a team that's like where it doesn't happen a few times, 3-4 runs seems insurmountable, but somehow it always happens. There was a big game, like a shocking one, where Mo Money had won 4 in a row. By the way, many teams have won 4 in a row this year, more than ever also.
Not us, but
Not you. You can't win 4 in a row
Not
when
2 in
you're
a row.
3-9, right? But Mo Money won 4 in a row. They went up 5-0 in the first inning. I'm sure they thought they had the victory in the bag, and then they blew it. Like, you never ever know.
You can't give up in this league. You gotta always push, because errors happen, and then it's like a snowball effect. It just builds and builds, and anything can happen.
An error can happen, a couple of base hits, walks, a bad call, anything can
And
happen.
our lineup 1 through 10, I mean, every guy could hit.
It's good. It's
And
a
our
good
bottom's
lineup.
hitting. We just
It's so
gotta
hard
string it
being a
together.
captain. I really think Mo Haber, who we didn't allow to be captain for a couple of years, he really mastered the art of being a captain. Like, he was 0-2 this year, looking at 0-3, down 8-5 in the last inning. He kept his team positive. Last year he was 0-4,
I was on that team.
and he made the playoffs. He made the trade, okay, but he somehow keeps his guys believing that it is possible to get there. So it is a tough matchup for you this year. A.B. Cohen last week, by the way, pitcher A.B. Cohen, had the flat tire and the whole issue. Mo Haber sent a driver to pick him up from the Staten Island Expressway and get him here. Wait, so you touched on something. You mentioned the YMSL. I've only played in the YMSL. I grew up here. I always played here. So I never played in another league. But when you mentioned it, and when KJ mentioned it in that interview, he goes, I've never seen anything like the competition that you guys have. And he attributed it to the community. He goes, the community guys, they wake up, they want to beat the hell out of each other for those 3 hours, and then they're friends afterwards. We understand that. But you're saying it's different than what you experienced in Brooklyn. So it's not a community thing necessarily, is it? What is it?
So Brooklyn League was also very, very competitive. I mean, more than half the guys in this league played in Brooklyn prior.
Right.
But what happens here, I think it's a combination. First of all, you have the best of the best here. You have what you do. The fact that everything you do is going to be on camera. It's going to be spoken about. You're going to see it on video. All that stuff combined with how competitive we are and how close we are as a community puts it all together. And that's why I think everyone is just so into it.
Yeah.
It's not just for this year. We're going to be talking about today 10 years from now.
It's crazy. It's a crazy dynamic. It's special, but it's dangerous, like you said, also, if you're on that bad team. But you know what? I really think when you play long enough, we've all been there. Like, we've all been on that bad team that you just know may not have it. But once in a while, you get a team like the Knights that it seems like it's going nowhere. Those guys told me last year, even after the trade, we have the pieces, but it's just not coming together this year.
Right.
And then it came together out of nowhere. Came together
Step
out
out
of
at the
nowhere.
right time.
It can happen. It can happen. And yes, you're right. So many people in the league are from Brooklyn, which you were commissioner of the Brooklyn League?
I
Okay.
was.
So when now that we're here in the summer and everyone's here, it's so much easier. But the hardest part is that we have to call rainouts before people leave Brooklyn. Otherwise, you're not being fair to people. You know, like I can't make you come here and then say we're not playing. So it's so hard on both levels because like week 2, once everyone comes and then it starts to pour, that's a nightmare. Then you have another week where you think it's gonna rain and so you cancel and then it doesn't rain. And then you have this week where you look like a genius, but like nobody knows. Nobody knows. No. How are you supposed to know 2 hours before what the weather's going to be? Like it's so that to me is the hardest part. What do you feel is the hardest part of being a commissioner? Let's say.
So, making that right decision is always the biggest challenge. And I told you in the first weeks when we were debating to play in 30 degrees or not, I said in years 1 through 2 you were perfect. For me at least, I never felt there was any issues. Every week you made the right call. And then we had those games playing in the cold, in the rain. It was very difficult, but we sucked it up, we played. Then I think you got stuck with some bad luck.
Yeah.
You pulled the game when you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And you're human.
Yeah.
You're human. But I love what you did. You admitted. You tried. You made the call, and we live with it. At the end of the day, you're doing what's best for the league. You don't have favorites. It's obvious.
No, I definitely don't. I really want the best games possible. Right. You know, and I'm happy we played before Passover. Looking back, because of how much rain we had, like last week, whether we called it early enough or let's say everyone came, no way we could have played in that last week.
Right.
We would not have played last. There were a couple of weeks where we really could not have played, no matter what. We would have been stuck in a week 4 or week 5 situation if we didn't play in the freezing cold.
So that's your opinion.
What do you think?
I would personally love to play throughout the summer. COVID year when we played every Sunday in the summer, that was awesome.
We
playing
also
in beautiful weather.
Yes,
it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I'd much rather play in that than in April. Very difficult to play in April. But
I hear you. But we also got very lucky that year. We also got
I don't think there was any rain out.
Not one rain out.
Yep.
Not even one play through the rain.
Yep.
It was just hot, beautiful, very hot in the World Series. And we didn't finish the World Series that year, even with the 5-team format, until September. It was the 1st or 2nd day of September.
Yep, I remember that.
And it was beautiful. Also, we had to play on racetrack because you lose firemen by mid-August.
Racetrack is great.
The truth is, we got lucky with Memorial this year also. That's a great field.
All the field. I mean, coming from Brooklyn, every field in Deal looks like Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. So Brooklyn, I never played on the fields in Brooklyn, but I coached the JV team, and we played on some of these pavements lately.
Well, we don't play on pavement, but it's hard when you're playing around guys playing stickball in the left field.
Yeah. Hockey in right field. When you grew up, you played you went to Mag and David?
Yes.
Okay, so you played on that across the street from Mag and David.
From Avenue P, yeah.
Wait,
that was before the new school.
Oh, before the new school. Okay,
yeah,
so you played by Avenue P.
Yeah, we played on pavement and it was fine, and we had great games. We didn't know what this was until later in life.
Right. So it's amazing to me because the bounces are much different here. How many great infielders are from Brooklyn? How could it be that you grow up on pavement where there's no tricky bounces, right? Is that true statement?
It depends if you have a crack. Sometimes you have a crack there.
If you have a pothole in that shortstop.
But the dirt slows down the ball for you here. And you guys play with the gold, we play with the mush. So there's definitely big differences. Like when we used to have those all-star games, we struggled because you guys always played with the gold ball,
right? And
guys weren't ready for it, and it took over time. Now everyone switched over. But
everyone ended up switching over. But yeah, some of the most talented people are from Brooklyn on the pavement that even in your day grew up with the mush ball instead of the gold, which I guess on pavement you have to do that. Otherwise,
well, we weren't on pavement in those leagues.
No, but no, I'm not saying those leagues. I'm saying when you grew up in elementary school, when you go to recess and you'd play ball or whatever, you played on that. Okay, let's get back to YMSL for a second now. What do you, this 5-team mush at the top of the standings, You already indicated that you see Mo Money as the cream of the crop there.
I wouldn't put them as cream of the crop. I just put them. I think they're a little bit better than the rest of the guys. I feel like the rest of the teams have a hole here or there, an issue. I feel like they have everything. As long as AB can be consistent, which he's been for 30 years, that team is going to be, I think, the toughest out.
What do you think the issue or the hole is on Get Back?
So Get Back, it's funny. I'm a big AB Saka fan, and I know he's taken a lot of abuse on this show.
Yeah, I don't know why. Every week he came up, and it was like...
And that's been the fuel. He's
crazy.
He's loving it. I'm not going to give him any fuel today because AB's a warrior. I love playing behind him.
He's on a 4-game winning streak also.
I think he had the finger thing. He had the cold thing. He's back into his normal routine. That team is very strong. Greenberg's unbelievable, hitting like an animal. You see his workout videos.
Yeah.
They have a very solid team. I think defensively and offensively, they're not really missing. They don't have the holes. I think they could use a few more hitters. But I think they're going to be there. They're going to be a team.
It's funny because I think their lineup is really good because you can't always talk about the top of the lineup because everyone has that. Right. You know, if you don't have Joe G, you have a baddie. If you don't have him, you have whoever the next guy. You know, MC. You always have a top guy.
Right.
I like that they have Roditi started hitting. Sam Loudon. This guy gets so many ribbies. He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Comes up in big spots. I'm not worried about their lineup. They did make a change in their outfield D. They moved Roditi from right to left. And I think Loudon and Torquilla are maybe splitting time in right. So I think that realignment helped them a little bit. But that team seems like it's peaking at just the right time to me.
They're a good team.
The other team peaking at the right time is Hubba Bubba, who also won 4 in a row. They're playing each other, by the way.
Right.
4 in a row versus 4 in a row, but very different. Their offense is to me, not as good as Get Back, but their defense, to me, could be the best in the league, in my opinion. What do you say?
So when we played Hubba, let's go back to the draft a second. I think a lot of people had the same feeling. When the draft happened, we didn't like the team on paper. We all felt like he reached for a lot of guys.
Right.
But he reached for winners. All good guys, all guys that have won before, and I think they're starting to gel.
Right.
When we played them, to me it was Bloop City against us, and every single one of them seemed to pull. So I feel like that was just bad luck on our end.
To remind everyone, that was the week with the Saban and the high pops.
It was a frustrating game, but they have power guys that you have to respect. So you gotta just pick your poison, so to speak.
Right.
I mean, Eddie's a great pitcher, so that you know he's going to get to be in every game. They have all good character guys, all fun guys. To me, their lineup is what's going to have to carry them.
Right.
Your brothers against us were phenomenal, but their numbers don't show that they're doing it every week. So they have to be very consistent for that team to do well.
I think Zach really hasn't taken over yet, and he's obviously capable of that. So I think as we get to the playoffs, which they're in the playoffs, Z's got to be we're still waiting for 5 for 6 with a homer and a triple or something like that. I haven't seen that from him yet. I was looking at all the league leaders recently. Joe G's on top of every league leader. Abadi obviously on top of everything. MC, all the different categories. You see different people peaking. But Abe Haber is the league leader, is the team leader in ribbies. And Abe Haber is the team leader. Buka Cohen's the team leader in home runs, not Zach. So I think Zach is, a big playoff performer. I think he's going to take over starting now. I think
they need swimming Zach.
Yeah.
To win this league. I don't think they could do it without him being great.
I agree with you. They need swimming Zach, and that's a hard thing.
That was one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Me too. That was wild. Okay, Toledo, Max Yadid, they really are the 1 seed, and in most scenarios they end up being the 1 seed because they have that sweep over Get Back. So in almost every tie break, they're going to be the 1 seed, almost.
I love that team.
Okay.
First you have Max on the mound, who it's almost impossible to sweep Max.
He doesn't get swept anymore. It's a crazy thing.
He's consistent. He's great. He keeps his team in every game, usually wins his team a game. And again, that's another team where you thought they didn't have the lineup. Everyone said they're old and slow.
Yeah, I said that a lot.
But Teddy on that team, Teddy's my partner in the night league. Teddy is he goes so above and beyond, and he gets everyone up. And that influence really keeps everyone positive, and you get the best out of people when you play like that. And you look at that team, every guy seems to be contributing.
Sammy, are you attributing the success of Toledo to T.I.?
He's a big piece of it.
It's a huge piece.
I think there's a lot of guys there.
The question is, when it goes bad, because no one's going to win the championship by cruising. Nobody.
Never happens.
When it goes bad and there's a moment of toughness, will T.I. crumble or will T.I. be the leader? Because he's been a perfect saint this whole season.
He wants to be captain, and I think you're a big motivator why he's been that perfect saint. He wants it next year. I believe he, to me, has been tremendous this year. I love just hearing the way he's talking. He seems like he's changed his style, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I feel like the guys are definitely gravitating towards him, and he's doing well. And all of them, you talk to the teammates, they all love it, and they're all feeding off of it. And that's what you need in this type of league. You need everyone to rally around something, and
he's on the right team this year, and they sort of need him because is Morris Shama or Abe Cohen or Yedid's on the mound, Eddie Mishon, who's gonna be that rah-rah guy? They needed him.
Right. I think that's what we're missing. On a Saban team, you wouldn't think we would be quiet.
Yeah.
But that's our biggest issue is we don't have that. I don't want to say rah-rah, but we don't have that rallying guy.
Yeah.
Dano's a phenomenal captain, one of the best teams everyone you want to play with, and he's great. But it's different. Like, he doesn't, like what Teddy brings to the field, like, it's different.
I hear you because you have Jake in center, Irwin in left,
Stevie at short, the best guys.
Shalou at short, but there's
quiet guys. They're not
so vocal. You could have used even like a Jigga, or you could have used, it doesn't have to be a star, or like even like Loudon again. Guy's very vocal on his team. There's a bunch of guys like that. There's a couple of first basemen that are vocal.
We don't get on pitchers ever. People get on Ralph all the time.
Day long.
It's very hard when you're having guys yelling at you and making. We don't do it. We just don't have that personality.
Right.
And I think that's an element that we're missing.
Wow, so Saban's got to start speaking up, is what we're saying here.
Saban, bring it Sunday, please.
You guys, that's it. Backs against the wall. What team am I forgetting? Tigers. Okay, Tigers. Another streaky team. 3 sweeps, and now they got swept 2 times in a row. 4-game losing streak.
Well, you see, it's very obvious what the difference is. Once Ahadon went down, and now that Marty left, that's a tough situation. They couldn't replace that talent. They got good players, but it's not as strong as it was. And now the baddie leaving is looming.
Looming is the perfect
They all know
word.
it. So all these guys, see,
it's a cloud over the franchise right now.
When we were playing them, we played them, I think it was week 4. They were already 6-0 at the time.
Right.
And they, we all know they go to the cages before and they come in hot. I was comparing it to Rocky 4. They're Russian. He's training in the room.
You will lose, yeah.
He's doing all that stuff, and we're coming here, sitting here, hitting the mush ball. They're trying to just get a couple 2 good swings.
Right.
and they were just coming in hot. And Ike Mavora, Salim Levy, Jimmy, all these guys, you see the difference in their swings.
Yeah.
They're crushing the ball.
Wow.
So they have the lineup. Leo's consistent, but when you had those 2 guys leaving now, Batty, they're not above everyone else anymore. Now they're just with the pack.
It's definitely, you said the perfect word. It's looming. There's something there, like, okay, even if we win, but he's leaving,
Yeah.
And with all the bad weather and with all the rain and everything and the cancellations.
Oh, I can't imagine what your phone was like last week. Batty must have been all over you.
No. He said there's nothing you can do.
Wow.
He wasn't.
Okay.
He really wasn't. And by the way, I offered every team, if we want to play, I tried getting the week in somehow. I said if we could play Friday, which would have been like 2 games today. I had the night field Tuesday and Wednesday. We could have made up that week. A couple of teams were into it, like Nate B was into it. Los Caballos was into it. Maybe they just want to get out of Dodge already.
Right.
But the Tigers did not get back to me and say we could play this week or that week.
I'll bet the other 3-4 teams on top were like, no, we'll wait.
We'll wait. Right.
We don't need a Batty in the semis.
We're not in any rush. Mavora, what kind of hitter is this guy? He's still hitting.
He's been doing it for his whole life.
But when does it end? I mean, the guy's unbelievable.
I'm telling you, the baddie effect, getting those swings before the game and a real pitching machine coming in hot is perfect for him because he's such a natural hitter.
Yeah.
And then just coming into the game and from pitch one, it's perfect.
Okay. Did we go over every team? I think so. Los Caballos slapping the base. I know what you need for your team. I know what you're rooting for. Obviously, you need Navy to win 2, but try to give me your honest prediction on what you think's going to happen.
So Caballos, all you guys talked about in the beginning, we're saying Jeffrey Sack is a different pitcher. He went to KJ, and now he's a much better pitcher. I said, it doesn't make sense. How can a guy transform like that at that age? But when I faced him, I was like, wow, he's coming in with a sign on pitch. He has speed. He has movement. I was very, very impressed. He's definitely a better pitcher than he was.
Wow.
Than I've seen the last few years. So you give him credit. But to me, that team lineup, they have Farka to me has not been that dominating presence,
which is crazy because for 3 years, Butter, swimming, and last year the Knights, he was top player in this league.
I think he's still top. I don't know what it is.
But is it being captain possibly?
It's definitely a possibility. It definitely takes a toll on people. I don't know about him. I don't know the dynamics of that clubhouse, but it may be.
Wow.
It's different when you could just go up there and just hit and play and not have to worry about decisions and who's starting, who's not. This guy's in. What do we play? All that stuff weighs on someone.
You know what's funny? Because he was always involved. Like, let's say on the Knights, Joe Eshko was captain, but Farka was definitely involved in making the trade and where should we play this guy? And Abe Cohen's going to right. You know, like, so he was always somewhat of a co-captain, let's say, but he wasn't the guy.
He's a warrior, and once playoffs come, you know he's going to show up. So I'm not worried about him.
He's got to get there, though.
They just got to win one game.
They got to win one game. So what are you predicting?
I'm predicting Nay's going to sweep him.
Wow.
I mean,
would be insane.
That would be awesome. I spoke to Nay. I mean, I gave him some advice that I have because Caballos does have a couple of things you could try and go after, but it's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard.
It's going to be hard for them. So you'll give a more natural prediction. I'm a little biased here. I'll admit it.
I'm biased also. I would love to see I love craziness, you know? I love craziness. I'm not looking to get out of here early. I'll stay here all day. Like, this is the day every week, every year that we're here all day. But this year, if it's only a 2-way tie instead of a 3-way, those teams agreed. Because usually we have 4 teams involved, 5 teams involved. This year is very unique. It's only 3 teams possible. Let's assume your team's not involved. If it's only those 2 teams, they agreed to push the game to Friday. Do you think that was a smart move by both teams? Who's the advantage? I sort of think Naby, if he wins 2, has all the adrenaline going, and we've seen it in the old days, 3 in a row in one day. But many people have disagreed with me on that. What do you think?
Big mistake by Caballos doing that.
Big mistake by Caballos doing it. Why?
Because Naby in one game, you want to face that?
No, but do you really want to face him after you lost 2?
Yes, because he's not going to be the same. No one can pitch the same in game 3.
Right.
And hopefully you just rally the troops. But Naby in one game is scary.
Very scary.
He could dominate.
And those one-gamers are just so scary. You played in it last year on To the Moon. They're just different types of games over there on the Friday, and they're always tight. But I just feel like Jeffrey in a 3rd game, although he's performed well in game 3s, he really had. Last year he didn't, but the year before, and the video that we sent this week, he pitched the 13-inning shutout and lost 1-0 basically one year in a game 3.
You brought up a good point by after losing 2, do they want to play a 3rd game?
Think of how you feel after you get swept.
Yeah,
Now you got to play a 3rd game with the pressure on you.
But when you lose 2, you want to get on the field right away. Like,
you do.
You want to just erase that feeling. So, and Farka's great, motivated. I mean, you see the intensity in his eyes. Like, he's got to be so much fun to play for.
Yeah.
So, I hear both sides of it. It could go either way. I guess also guys love the ability to just, okay, let's regroup, live for another week. Right. Like when you rained out this week, and now I'm in deal now.
Right.
So now I get the Sunday morning regular, we'll play 3 games. I have no problem. My wife's not going to care.
Right.
It's great. So I want to be alive as long as possible.
Of course you do. Okay, so you're predicting a Navy sweep, which would be insane. I'm almost certain Navy's winning that first game. I'm almost certain of it because I could just see like, oh my God, I got to get to Fireman's West.
Right.
If they win again, we have a.
All right, well, the 8:30 start is perfect because you'll be here for the whole.
Oh, I'll be here.
beginning.
I'll be here, and I can't wait. I really can't wait. It's been too long. These 3-week layoffs is part of the challenge for all the teams, but like it's really hard to get into a
If
zone.
you don't take batting practice and fielding practice in between, like we have the night league, so we're playing every week.
Yeah.
When you skip a week or two, it really takes a couple of innings to get back into it, and it could ruin the game for you.
If you're just taking off during the 3-week layoff, Shavuot and a rain out, you're not ready for week 7. You're just not. You better get moving now. Today, you better do something. So I'm saying Navy's for sure winning game 1, but I could see Los Caballos taking advantage of the slap in the base defense in game 2, and I see a split there with the specific game 1, game 2, and then Los Caballos takes it. In your game, I may be crazy. I think you're going to take game 1 also. Am I nuts? I should just go Mo Money to sweep and call
Listen,
it
Mo
in?
Money is the easy pick. Like when you're watching your previews that you did last week, if somehow Yada could win a game, like the craziest thing in the world.
Like you're a bunch of 6-year-olds. Like this.
And I'm watching, I'm like, it's not that bad.
I know. You lost to every team in the league by 1 run or 2 runs, by the way, until this last run.
That game against Hubba Bubba was really deflating.
It was bad.
But
yeah.
I think if we played last Sunday, I think we lose. I don't think we were in the right head. I believe now we feel much more confident.
Wow.
I'm telling you, once you sent that video of 3 years ago,
Yeah.
everyone started to, wow, we could do this. We could be that team.
Yeah.
It's
You
possible.
could. You definitely could. Think of the guys on your team. We don't need to list them again. We've listed it all season. There's no reason you guys can't show up and sweep. There's no reason you can't sweep.
We could score 15 runs with this lineup.
Yeah, your lineup is really good. Your D, is
You
it Ralph? What is it? Why do we keep losing every game?
We have no weaknesses.
Right.
Across the board, every position's covered. We have every 1 through 10. Everything's great. We're just having bad luck. This bounces the wrong way. Things happen.
Okay, maybe you do. Maybe you do to get some good luck. Mo Money has had nothing but good luck, by the way. They've got rainouts when they needed them. JT had a procedure, rain out. This guy couldn't make it. I'm playing with 9, got rain out. Like, except for week 1 when they didn't have the pitcher, they've had perfection.
Besides that 1 week against the Baddies team when the Baddie was out, I don't think we ever played a team shorthanded.
Wow.
So that's like we didn't. Again, you should beat who's there, but we're not. We gotta be a lot better. Everyone's got to be better.
Yeah.
And 1 through 10, like guys have had decent years. Like if you look at the numbers, they're not terrible, but our top guys need to step up in a major way this week. We need to string it together, and that's what we haven't been getting timely hits. And guys making errors like it's.
Mo Money needs the sweep desperately because they want the bye, obviously, and they could even get the 1 seed if things break out correctly for them. But in most scenarios, if they sweep, in many scenarios, unless the team's above them, also sweep. But if they're in a tie, they have many tiebreakers. They swept Hubba Bubba, which is good for them because they can be tied with them. So they're going for broke, but. That could work against them also because they could feel the pressure if they're playing loose.
So if they lose 1, does game 2 mean anything to them?
Oh yeah, for sure, because if they lose 1, they can hope things break correctly for them. They could still get the bye. Where if they lose 2, they'll be 7-7. I mean, they could even. I think there's a scenario where they could go down to the 6th seed. I think. I forgot.
That doesn't matter.
Someone sent me. It doesn't matter because you don't know who the 3 is going to be.
It
even
doesn't matter.
unless you want to be home, you want to be
Unless
the 3
you're getting
and 4.
the bye, it doesn't matter where you fall because every team is so.
Yeah, I'm going split on the 2 firemen's. I think you guys could take one. I fear if you lose game 1 and you're eliminated, that it becomes
I'd be worried about that.
A route the other way. The runs matter, so hopefully I'm not doubting you guys are not going to play serious, but mentally, you know that you can't get in. You could be a little checked out. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Okay, let's go over to Memorial. You have two phenomenal matchups. Memorial 1, Get Back, which is your brother, A.B. Saka, Max Sutton, that whole team. Who are they playing? They're playing Toledo. Toledo is 8 and... I'm sorry, no. Get Back is playing Hubba Bubba on Memorial 2. Hubba is 7 and 5, Get Back 8 and 4. Your prediction?
I like Get Back to sweep them.
To sweep, so that means Get Back would be 10 and 4.
We just had a tough World Series loss to A.B. Sack on the mound. He's going to come out firing this week, and their team, their lineup should be able to hit Eddie. And A.B.'s trying to, the whole A.B. versus Eddie thing, I took Eddie over A.B. in the night league, and A.B. still feels it. So A.B.'s going to be a warrior this Sunday, and I think they're going to end up taking 2.
So you took Eddie over A.B., thus saying you like Eddie better than A.B.
They're like this to me.
But you took Eddie, but now you're predicting A.B.
I won with Eddie 2 years ago. I'm predicting A.B.'s team.
A.B.'s team, okay.
Because I think A.B.'s team is a little bit better. They have all the positive vibes, and they have all the same things. So now you look talent versus talent. I think just Joe G's just that much better, and then the rest of I like that team a lot better.
Hubba Bubba, I think, is what you said. They reached for winners. David A. Cohen at third, completely different player than he was in the beginning of the year. He's back to what he was on the nights and everything. Abe Haber, under the radar, phenomenal year.
He's still not the under the radar type of guy. But
I know, but maybe again he started a little slow and he came around, but he's up there in every category. He's really leading them. I'm picking Hubba to sweep this week, and I have not picked them to sweep this year. I don't think. I'm picking them to sweep because I think it's time for Zach to take over, and he hasn't really taken over yet. His defense has been phenomenal, but he hasn't given them the 5 for 6 week. I can't see this whole season coming and going without Zach making that huge impact. Joe G is the great neutralizer for Zach. He's every bit as talented as Zach. He's unbelievable, could be MVP this year, but I think the Hubba defense is the best in the YMSL. I really do.
So we touched on it earlier. The swimming Zach had that World Series against A.B. Saka.
Oh, you're right.
So that's a fun matchup to see how A.B. adjusts.
What a great point.
That's going to be a fun one to watch.
I love that. That's a great point. I don't know if Zach was just on another planet that month or if it was A.B. He liked that matchup. I don't know what it was. But like we said, you rarely see a performance like that.
Right.
We saw it with Jack last year with the Kakambas 20 for 24, something stupid. But that is a great point. He got every hit against A.B. Saka that year.
Right.
This could be the opportunity for them. Toledo at 8 and 4 against
the Tigers.
The Tigers at 7 and 5.
So is this considered Jack's last game?
No.
Oh, he's here next week.
Yeah.
He's here next week.
Yeah. No, he's here.
Okay.
He's got some time still.
So Max against that lineup.
This is only the 19th this week, right? Yeah, this is the 19th. He's here the 26th. Then even the week after, 7-3.
Oh.
He's here.
So
he's not leaving
till
the 5th. Yeah. He's not leaving just yet.
Okay, so he's going to miss the finals if they get there.
I don't know.
Fly back and forth.
If they get there. Are they going to get there? I don't think so.
I think, again, what they do before the games is a big difference. So the right matchup, if the right pitcher is facing them, or a pitcher who's not going to change stuff up and really confuse them, get them uncomfortable, that team could put up 10 runs easy.
For sure. So I think they scored more runs than any team in the last 4 years.
I don't know how Eshko's shoulder is. You definitely saw he had to move from shortstop in our game to second base.
Again.
That just, they got to get healthy.
His injuries over these last few years have been constant.
Yeah, Todd.
What do you got?
Aaron and Marty. I don't think it's gonna be a sweep. I think it's gonna be a split.
I agree.
Two good teams, and they're both gonna take one.
I agree, and I sort of like what I'm hearing from the Tigers camp. They're ready to turn this around and tell everybody, yes, you're all bashing us for the last month. That we can't win a game all of a sudden since all these injuries and replacements. So they're looking to sweep. They're looking for that bye. They're looking to turn their ship, whatever. But I think it's a split. Maxi D, like we said, doesn't really get swept, but he also hasn't pitched phenomenal. I haven't seen the 2-0 game, I don't think. He's losing a ton of game ones, which I don't understand. It's not like he's showing up late. I think he's working despite T.I. I think he's putting in the work, Max. I think he's a phenomenal, great pitcher. But I'm not
hitter.
And hitter.
Him and Nate B became like really top hitters.
Crazy. Nate B is leading his team in everything.
Yeah.
In everything.
Unbelievable.
But I don't know. Toledo, I think, could win the World Series very, very easily. I'm sort of loving that team. The little pop at Edmond, I like.
I think any of those 5 teams have a very strong chance.
Me too.
I believe if we got it right, we have a strong chance, but we just got to get there. And all the teams, I don't think anyone's above the rest. I think everyone has a good chance, and you just got to play well those weeks.
And every team is so different. You have the offense, you have the defense, you have the pitchers, you have every team is such a different type of team, but we've seen it over the last few years. Swimming was pitching and defense. They couldn't hit. They still couldn't hit. They had one guy hitting, Farka protecting him, okay? They had 2 main guys, and really, look at the lineup. Then you have a team like the Knights. They have a long lineup. There's no outs. It's just...
outfield was
great.
Phenomenal.
It was.
Phenomenal.
It was. There's so many ways to win if you get hot at the right time. You got to get hot at the right time. When is that time? I believe that's now. It's now or never.
Now for us. For those teams, they have another week.
Right, they have another week, but they want that bye because you get that bye, it's like you swept the first round.
But you get that bye, make sure you don't sit back. You cannot sit back and just take off for 2 weeks and not play and then walk on. But so many teams do that.
Yeah.
So many teams do it. And it's funny, you see, even professional, you hit teams, they're going to the Bahamas because they have the bye. You hear it, and then they come out flat.
The Giants versus the Cowboys in
I'll
07.
Yep.
They were in Los Cabos.
Yep.
Well, we were working at Butts.
That's exactly what I was thinking about.
How do they do that at the professional level? It's off the
I said at the time, and best bet the Giants.
Unbelievable. Okay, and Sam, anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to say? This is your world.
No, it's been phenomenal. I love that I'm now playing here. I understand all the guys that I held back for so long. That sir is really it was a great. I'm so happy I'm here. I love it, and I think you guys do a phenomenal job, and hope to be here for a long time.
Well, you're a great guy. Your brother's a great guy. We love having you and everybody else that wants to come here. There's really no animosity, competition. Everyone know where you want to go, and there should be good softball everywhere. Actually, the Brooklyn League is playing in Jersey this week now, so they're making the move over to Jersey. We tried helping them get the racetrack fields or whatever. They ended up getting Dow. They got Dow Avenue because
Dow.
They got very lucky because no DSN on Father's Day, so they got Dow Avenue.
DSN's a funny operation.
They are.
They play on the fast days, but not on the Father's
Day. They are. I don't know what to tell you, man. Take that up with whoever. For Sammy Esses, thank you so much. Honest input. I cannot wait for Sunday morning. I'm more pumped this week than last week. I don't know why, because I didn't see the rain coming at this time last week, but I sort of think some crazy things could happen this week, Sam. So
it'll be a lot of fun.
Thank you, and we'll see you Sunday morning.
Beautiful.